Hi, my name is Mark Bieland. I am a student at the University of Mary, and I'm here today to talk about a form of assistive technology that can help students out who typically struggle in the classroom due to whatever disability they may have. So, to start off, I think it's important to first talk about what assistive technology is. Assistive technology is a type of technology, and there are three different types. There's no tech, low tech, and high tech. No tech means that there's absolutely no technology involved. It's just something that you can use. It can be something as easy like paper or like a pencil grip or something like that. Low tech means that there's some technology involved. This could be something like an app or just something kind of basic like that. And then finally, there's high tech, which is something that is like that they need in their day to day life, and that it is something that is like a regular occurrence. So this would be something like a wheelchair or something that helps mobilize, etc. There's a lot of different examples for what high tech could be. High tech is what we most commonly think of when it comes to assistive technology, but in reality, there are multiple different types of it. So, assistive technology is necessary because it does help our students not only prosper within the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. It can help them to increase in their independence, and it can also help them to increase in just their happiness, their academic success, their social skills. There are so many different benefits to using assistive technology that it's essentially impossible just to outweigh all of the benefits that it offers because there are so many, and it seems impossible just to figure out what all the benefits are. um Typically, though, assistive technology is seen used within students who have disabilities. This can be within any type of disability that there may be. It could be used with children who are on the autism spectrum. It could also be used with children who have Down syndrome or intellectual disabilities. However, those aren't the only type of children who have it. Usually people think of intellectual disabilities, that's the people that they think are going to need the most kinds of assistive technology. But actually, there's a lot of different assistive technology that comes into play with children who have other disabilities, which can include hearing disabilities, such as having a hearing impairment, or visual impairments, or children who are blind. When I was in middle and high school, one of my classmates was actually he was fully blind in his left eye, and then he only had 25% vision in his right eye. So what they had to do is that he had this thing. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was kind of like an Elmo, like those old kinds of technology that they used in about like the early 2000s, like early mid 2000s. It was kind of like that, but it was a portable one where he could use it as like a magnifying glass in order to see the board. So we can see that being used with children who may not typically require special services, but children who do have some sort of disability, and they do need something that'll help them out. So that's just one example of what assistive technology can look like within the classroom. For the type of technology that I would like to talk about today, and why I think it is probably one of the most important, and also I think one of the coolest, is the Livescribe Smartpen. So I have known about the Livescribe Smartpen since I believe it was, I want to say November or October of 2019. I had the opportunity to go and tour a place that dealt with assistive technology and giving it to Bismarck Public Schools, and they showed us multiple different types of assistive technology that they give, and not only for Bismarck Public Schools, but also for people who live in homes or group homes. And by showing them different types, like showing us all the different types of assistive technology that they have. The one that I have always thought is the coolest, and like that I like still talk about to this day because like I genuinely think this is so cool, is the Livescribe Smart Pen. So the Livescribe Smart Pen is a pen that will write down information. You get like a special sheets of paper, and you write down on this piece of paper, and what it'll do is that once you click the pen to start writing, then it'll start recording. And so when it starts to record the information, it gives it so that the student has an opportunity to go back and play through all of the information that was recorded during that class session. So say that the student is someone who is currently in high school, and they are taking a biology class, and they were talking about cellular reproduction. So they were trying to figure out what the stages of mitosis were. So they had to like go back through and they had to check out what every single part was, going from metaphase to telophase and all that kind of stuff. And they can't remember exactly like all like the little nitty details because they didn't write it down. So then they go to the page and then they click on a part of it, and then it'll play back through all of the information that the teacher had said within that time. So that helps the student out because it'll give them all of that information that they learned within the classroom. So it ultimately helps them out in like organization and also in their writing skills, because their writing skills may not be the best. So as long as they are writing something down, even if it's just like a little drawing, they still will be able to have that information given to them later, even if they weren't able to fully write it down or if they just can't properly organize it in the way that their teacher would like them to. It can also be used to take pictures, which I didn't know about this until I did some more research on it. And it can take pictures of either the assignment that's like on the board or something else. And so like it'll have like a little chip inside of it, and then you can plug it into a computer, and by doing that, it will then give the student like a way to like go back and look at the stuff that was like on there. So like going back to the example that I used of a student within a high school biology classroom, they will then be able to like go back and then look at all of the different phases that a cell goes through when it is splitting. So like it can just take pictures and do all that kind of stuff. So it's this is something that's typically seen with students who have an intellectual disability, typically with students who struggle with writing as well or with organizational skills. During my research with checking what types of what students will need this kind of technology, usually for the most part, it was students who struggle in the writing area and also struggle with struggle with organization. So typically you're going to see students with dyslexia having something like this. That would be a great way for them to be able to help organize their information, because they may be writing down the wrong letters, or they might not know how to spell a lot of things, because dyslexia, as we know, can affect the way a student reads, and it can also affect the way that they write. Additionally, with students who have organizational who have struggles in the organizational department, it can help them to organize their information and showing them what order things need to go in. So if it's just like showing the order of the information that it's presented in, so if it's like going from the first step of cellular reproduction going down to the final step, then it'll help them to organize how to do it, like how it should actually go and not just the way that they think it goes. And on top of that, it can also help students out by showing them what the proper way to think about this is. And additionally, this is something that students can not only use within the classroom, but they can also use it in other settings as well. If a student needs to be going to like some kind of lecture and like they're doing it for extra credit, then they could take it here and record all the information. They could also take it at home and write down some of the information like that they're like listening to on a television. Like for example, in my mom's government class, when I was a senior in high school, we had to take news quizzes every single week. So a student could go home and while they're watching the news could write stuff down that was happening on the news, and then go back through and listen to what they were listening to on the news, and then checking to see like, oh, well, this happened in the news and this also happened in the news. So that's just another way that this can be applied within the classroom, not only within the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And then it can also, like I said earlier, it can take pictures. So you can use it to take pictures outside of the classroom. Like if you just needed to take a picture of like what was like something on your TV or something else in your house, something like that. If you just need to turn it in for a quick assignment, that could be an easy way to do it, is just by using this Livescribe Smartpen. Overall, I would say that the Smartpen is one of the most like influential pieces of assistive technology. It's something that has always stuck out to me as something that's really cool, really informative, and just overall a great piece of technology. And I think that any person who would need something like it should get it, because I think that it is a very effective way for students to be able to learn the information and also to be able to organize it and learn how to write it down properly. And I think that through the time that it's been around, it has helped plenty of different students in order to help them better understand the information and better write and read. So I think that the Livescribe Smart Pen is a great piece of assistive technology, and it can help out someone who really needs it. Thank you.